Greetings, I am the Penniless Priest, and welcome to the first episode of what I like to call Revising the Formula. For all the graphs and grades I give on this channel, I am still a flawed human, and sometimes I'll make judgments on cards that are either too high or too low. While the occasional mistake doesn't irk me, significant flaws with how I assess a card's strengths and weaknesses need to be corrected. This video is my first attempt to refine my procedure. With that in mind, let's look at the two cards that surprised me the most this expansion. To My Side and Rhok'Delar. 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 Ardell. I'm going to call it Ardell. Anyways, these two cards are linked simply by the tagline, "If your deck has no minions," which most of the Hearthstone community took to be a ridiculous concept. Everybody was rating these cards as terrible, unplayable, dusted immediately. When I looked at each of these cards, I was torn. To My Side was a terrifying amount of tempo, tied with either aggression or anti-flexibility, while Ardell was just so powerful. The weakness here is that my model did not grab the card's if clause, the lack of minions. A deck not having minions didn't affect aggression or tempo at all, and attributing the factor to flexibility felt wrong, for reasons I'll cover in a minute. Still, I chose to consider the effect as a limit to flexibility, and with that both cards looked significantly worse. Of course, what ended up happening is that No Minion Secret Hunter became one of the most top tier decks in the expansion, especially for the first few days. What gives? How did this end up happening when the cards were so allegedly ineffective? It turns out the flexibility doesn't work the way that I used it. The flexibility of a card is different than the card's limits in a deck. Think of Patches the Pirate. This card would be horrible in a deck without other pirates, yet it sees play in most aggressive and tempo style decks. The same goes for Reno Jackson. If the condition isn't fulfilled, then Reno is useless. These cards are only weak when put in the wrong decks, so a penalty to flexibility doesn't make sense. But if we can't call this effect a limitation on flexibility, what is it then? The answer I came to is that it didn't have to do with any of the values we assess. Aggression, tempo, flexibility, even power, all of them are unaltered. This means we need a new value, which I like to call deck cohesiveness. Basically, the more card is able to be in any deck, the more value this stat has. Looking at the cards anew, Ardell and To My Side have significant power, but are limited in terms of cohesiveness. The high aggression, tempo, and flexibility give these cards high marks in the decks that they are meant for, but with the low cohesiveness, these cards will suffer in Arena. In terms of grading, the plus and minus system I use for Arena will suit for grading cards with high or low cohesiveness. To that end, To My Side gets an A-, and Ardell gets an S-. Very powerful cards overall, but only in select circumstances. That's it for this revision. Tune in next time Blizzard manages to outsmart me. Until then, remember, light smiles upon the just.